1,000 people have been killed in the worst earthquake the country has seen in 20 years. The 6.1 quake struck in the middle of the night.
6,000 people still missing after
the massive tragedy that is unfolding.
Uttarakhand is devastated by
a train death in Kedarnath.
बड़े पैमाने पर बर्बादी और तबाही,
leaving tens of thousands
अभी तक सारा फोकस तीर्थयात्रियों को निकालने में ही है।
नमस्ते, हाय एवरीबॉडी। इस वीडियो में हम अर्थक्वेक एंड उसके रिलेटेड कॉज एंड इफेक्ट के बारे में समझने वाले हैं। आज हम टेक्स्ट बैक क्वेश्चन को सॉल्व करके साथ ही साथ पूरा पॉइंट इस लेसन का समझेंगे। अभी जो वीडियो फुटेज देखे थे दैट इज ऑल अबाउट अर्थक्वेक, सुनामी, फ्लड्स, अवेलांचेस के बारे में था। एंड लुक आउट फॉर अ प्लेलिस्ट फॉर अदर टॉपिक्स रिलेटेड। थैंक यू। लेट्स स्टार्ट। Which type of mountains have led to the formation of major fold mountains in the world? किस movement के वजह से major fold mountains हुआ है? Okay, तो answer is slow endogenetic movement. Okay, slow endogenetic movement that occur continuously have led to the formation of the major mountains, fold mountains in the world. Okay, तो उसमें से the major fold mountains that have formed due to slow endogenetic movements are the Himalayas. Okay, ये मैप में अगर देख रहे हो जो कलर किया हुआ पार्ट है ये हिमालयास है. Okay, and this Himalayas have been formed due to slow endogenetic movements. The next is the Aravallis. Same यहाँ पे भी मैप में जो colored part है इसको हम Aravalli ranges करके मानेंगे. And the next are the Rockies, the Andes and the Alps. Okay, so fold mountains जो हुआ है it is because of slow endogenetic movement. Moving on to the next. How is the magnitude of the earthquake related to the collapse of houses? Okay. The high magnitude of the earthquake leads to the collapse of houses on a large scale. That is, the secondary waves reaches the earth surface after the primary waves are reached. These waves are more destructive than primary waves. Okay, secondary waves के वजह से damages create होता है जो earthquake के टाइम में होता है. So there are two types of waves, secondary and primary. आगे आने वाले आंसर्स में देखेंगे. What are the effects of earthquake on Earth's surface and human life? The effects of earthquake on Earth's surface and human life are of two types. Effects of Earth's surface. Earthquake leads to the formation of cracks and fissures on the ground. अब images में देख सकते हो. Second point, it causes landslides which leads to sliding of rocks. It sometimes leads to the change in course of groundwater. Groundwater में भी changes आ जाता है. It results in uplifting and subsliding of land. Uplifting थोड़ा ऊपर आ जाता है जैसे कि इमेज में आप देख सकते हो. Subsliding that is एक के ऊपर एक चढ़ जाता है. It sometimes lead to generation of tsunamis in ocean. सुनामी जो क्रिएट होता है इट बिकॉज ऑफ अर्थक्वेक कॉज्ड इन ओशंस. ओके, इट ऑल्सो लीड टू occurrence of avalanches in snow covered areas. Second point, effects on human life. Earthquake leads to great loss of life and property. It leads to disruption in transportation routes. It leads to collapse of communication system. Explain the type of volcanoes on the basis of periodicity of eruption with examples. The types of volcanoes on the basis of periodicity of eruption are as follows. First is active volcano. If the volcanic eruption are regular in the present times, then such volcanoes are called active volcanoes. For example, Mount Fujiyama in Japan, Mount Stromboli in Mediterranean Sea. Dormant volcanoes. When a volcano has not erupted since long but may become active suddenly, it is called dormant volcanoes. For example, Mount Vesuvius in Italy, Mount Katmai in Alaska, and barren lands in India. Extinct volcanoes. The volcanoes which have not erupted in the past since long and are not likely to erupt in the future are called extinct volcanoes. For example, Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania. Okay, the main cause of earthquakes. Types of seismic waves. There are three types of seismic waves. Firstly, primary, or it is called as P waves. Secondary or S waves. Thirdly, it is surface or L waves. Explain the types of seismic waves. The types of seismic waves are as follows. Primary or P waves. First point. The seismic waves that reach the earth first, immediately after the energy is released in the interior, are called primary or P waves. Second point, they travel rapidly in radial direction from the focus of the earthquake, that is center of the earthquake. Third point, they travel from all the mediums, that is liquid, solid and gaseous. While traveling through liquid medium, their direction gets changed. Fourth point, due to these waves, the particles in the rock move forward and backward in direction of the waves. Primary waves are comparatively less destructive than the secondary waves. Okay, what is secondary waves? The waves that reach the earth's surface after the primary waves are called secondary waves or S waves. These waves scatter in radial direction from the focus of the earthquake. Their velocity is lesser than the velocity of P waves. The speed, जितना fast जो speed वो आ रहा है वो primary wave से थोड़ा कम है, but the destruction is more. They can travel only through the solid medium. They get observed as they enter the liquid medium. Due to these waves, the particles in the rock move up and down in the direction of wave. ये वेव अप एंड डाउन होता है और इसके पहले वाले वेव में क्या देखे थे, फॉरवर्ड एंड बैकवर्ड देखे थे. ओके, सेकेंडरी वेव आर मूड डिस्ट्रक्टिव दैन द पी वेव, सरफेस और एल वेव. The waves that are generated after the primary waves and secondary waves are called surface or L waves. They move in the direction of circumference of the earth along the crust. Due to these waves, the particles in the rock move up and down as also side waves. Surface waves are highly destructive. Why an earthquake occurs? Tremendous tension is created in Earth's crust due to internal movements. The plates move. The plates collide over each other. Plates slides one below the other. Fractures are formed in rock layers due to tension in the interior of the earth. Sometimes volcanic eruptions occur. An earthquake occurs due to the following reasons. Buildings collapsed at the foothills of the Himalayas because of an earthquake. Before collapsing, they were moving forward and backward. If there is occurrence of an earthquake at the foothills of the Himalayas, the surface of the earth trembles. The particles lying in the way of primary waves move to and fro in the direction of energy transfer. On the other hand, the particles lying in the way of secondary waves move up and down in the direction of energy transferred. Primary waves were the first one to reach the surface of the earth, and they are followed by the secondary waves. Therefore, before collapsing, the buildings at the foothills of Himalayas move forward and backward. There is a difference in the formation of the Meghalaya Plateau and the Deccan Plateau. Formation of Meghalaya Plateau. Because of internal movement, horizontal waves moving towards each other in hard rocks from fault due to compression. When a part of Earth's crust in between two parallel faults is lifted, it looks like a block. Such a landform is known as block mountain. The Meghalaya Plateau is formed in a similar way due to slow endogenous movement. Formation of Deccan Plateau. During eruption, when the magma comes out not from the single vent but from many cracks, it is called fissures type of volcanic eruption. The molten material coming out with this type of eruption spread on both sides of the fissures. As a result, volcanic plateaus are formed. The Deccan Plateau is formed in a similar way. It is due to sudden endogenetic movements. In this way, there is a difference in the formation of Meghalaya Plateau and Deccan Plateau. Most of the volcanoes are found on the plate boundaries. There is regular eruption of active volcanoes in the present times. Plate boundaries are the weakest section of the mantle. Due to endogenous movement, many of the plates are pulled away from each other. Similarly, volcanoes are also formed as magma rises upward from the underlying mantle along the gap between the two plates. Thus, most of the volcanoes are found on the plate boundaries. The barren island is becoming conical in shape. Barren Island is an island located in the Andaman Sea, dominated by barren volcano. A barren volcano is dormant for a long time, but in February 2017, it started erupting and its eruption is conical. Due to its eruption, cone-shaped mountains start forming. Therefore, the barren island is becoming conical in shape. Volcanic eruption can cause earthquake. Areas of earthquake and areas of volcanoes are directly related to the plate boundaries. Due to the tension in the interior of the earth, fractures in rock layers are formed. It also leads to the formation of magma. The magma rises upward from the underlying mantle along the gap between the two plates. and thus it leads to an eruption of volcanoes. Sometimes, due to tremendous pressure at the time of volcanic eruption, the earth's surface trembles, leading to earthquake. In this way, volcanic eruption can cause earthquake.